DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Monster Energy, Nice Cactus, and GGBet.
We find ourselves in a very awkward spot here as we get ready for our second elimination matchup because it's the participants of said game that shouldn't be anywhere near here. Let's go back a month to DreamHack Rotterdam, where we find CR4ZY and Heroic in the grand finals, fighting it out in a 3-map series. Of course, the winner of that, CR4ZY, they get their title, they go home the champions. We move to Atlanta just a couple of weeks, if not even, ago. And what do we have? Well, we have Heroic picking up a win, and if it wasn't for Sprout's ridiculous run, CR4ZY would have been in those finals too. Third DreamHack with the same 2 teams, and we're in an elimination BO3. Guys, what happened here? What's happened?
I mean, first of all, we said it, I'm going to say it again, this is a very stacked event, right? I think the list of teams here is very interesting. Plus, the first game of the day is a best of 1. You don't get to lose a few rounds and just come back into a nice, comfortable best of 3. No. It's very cruel sometimes. You lose 1 pistol round, a clutch here and there, suddenly you end up in the elimination game. Sure. Now, if you're a great team, if you have what it takes, it doesn't matter. You bounce back, you win that game today, you go on, you win the decider, and you're in the playoff. They can still do it, but today they are paying the price for their mistakes of yesterday.
Exactly, and we heard Heroic talking about it in the interview. They just came fresh off of boot camp. Sometimes when you're processing that much information, I'm sure they changed a lot of things up. I'm sure they dry run and went through a lot of their mistakes and trying to fix things. So sometimes processing all of that, it can be a little bit overwhelming. And as you mentioned, the first day, initial matchup, best of 1, you have no room for mistakes. And 13-16, that first match, it was just so close.
Yeah, you're coming off a big boot camp, your brain's so big, you're lopsided and disbalanced, and all of a sudden you find yourself here. But let's take a look at Group B, just so that we can be sure as to how each team ended up here. Like you said, a single best of 1 is all that it took to find both of these participants down in the lower bracket. SJ 16-13 was on Nuke, and then CR4ZY just getting dismantled by Godsent. The most lopsided opening game of all of yesterday, that 16-7 Dust 2.
Yeah, that's what we need to say, is that yes, these 2 teams end up in the elimination match. Yes, they lost their first game, but 2 completely different scenarios. Absolutely not possible to compare these 2. You have Heroic, who go up toe-to-toe with SJ. Surprisingly good teams, right? We didn't expect them to put that much of a fight. Losing clutches, we're talking 5 seconds into the round. Split-second decisions go the way of SJ, whereas CR4ZY basically plugged in their computer, turned off the monitor, and just waited 16 rounds. That's how it felt like. They didn't play at all. They were surpassed in every compartment of the game. I was heavily disappointed with what they had to show.
Right.
They just had very good success changing this lineup, but there is a discussion that needs to be had between Emmy and Letney. I think there is redundancy between what these 2 players bring to the table, and that's going to be an issue on the long term.
And the difference being, when CR4ZY had that opening matchup problem over in Rotterdam as well, their next opponent was Asterion, the local team from the Beneflux qualifier. That same best of 1 loss now faces them up versus what has been kind of their biggest arch nemesis in the last month. But Potter, I've heard you've got 3 reasons for me. So 3 reasons of what?
Yes, so 3 reasons why this woulda, coulda, shoulda been the grand final series matchup, and we're seeing it here in an elimination match. And with reason number 1, we spoke about it a little bit, because CR4ZY, they won Rotterdam just in October. They made it all the way to the grand finals, even having such a disadvantage going into the map vetoes, but they were able to grind it out, make some scrappy rounds into their favor, and win that entire event. And with reason number 2, Heroic just won DreamHack Atlanta, and it was an impressive showing, showcasing exactly why their teamwork makes the dream work and makes it happen for this Heroic side of things. And with reason number 3, the bar has been raised for both of these squads. Just a couple months ago, starting for both of these teams coming into these events, we were wondering what kind of a team, what kind of progress would show up for these types of tournaments, but they've won them. They've raised the bar. Our expectations have been raised. So we really are surprised that they've been put in this position.
Yeah, most certainly so. But I think what we should do is just immediately jump into focusing on the veto, because we have a prime example. That best of 3 finals from DreamHack Rotterdam, where we had blowouts on each of the team's map picks. 16-3, 16-5 were the first 2 maps on both Nuke and Mirage accordingly. And then we had that really close game. Where else other than Inferno?
Yeah, absolutely. Inferno, the famous third map. Now, when it comes to veto, if the world makes sense, I think Overpass and Train should be out the window. Overpass would be Heroic's first pick if they had the opportunity. Crazy usually bans it. I don't see why Overpass would be let in. And also Train on the side of Heroic, they should remove it because Crazy would jump on it if they could. Now, the picks, we have a little bit more, wriggle room in the picks.
Yeah.
But then, okay, hold on, hold your phone. Train is still in the mix.
Right. I'm gonna say that Heroic should and will pick Nuke, and Crazy should and will pick Train.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but these are the 2 maps that I would pick if I were these teams.
Right, so Heroic removes the map that Crazy bested them in the finals.
Vertigo.
And Crazy go
for Dust 2.
Ooh, let's get weird, guys. Let's get freaky early today. It's not even noon yet, and we've got Vertigo on the docket.
I was afraid for Heroic doing this. They did it in Atlanta, and it almost backfired on them, although they have practiced Vertigo, although they're very efficient on it. I guess it's good, though, because as I mentioned, Crazy's map pool is very weak. They haven't had a chance to practice that,
okay, hold on.
that Vertigo.
How did Crazy manage to pull off Dust 2 and the Train in that veto?
Yeah.
To me, that is extremely surprising that if you're Heroic, you allow Train to be the potential third map when it's been one of your first ban in the past. Now, look at when I started this veto system, I had in my mind that Heroic were in the perfect position. There were so many maps they could pick and punish Crazy on it. We're talking about Nuke, obviously, talking about Vertigo that they could pick, and the middle ground should be theirs. But now somehow, by some crazy black magic, we end up with Train as a third map that I thought would be a pick from Crazy. So I'm kind of surprised, I'm kind of speechless. I think there's like a plan on the side of Heroic, but I didn't see that coming.
I think Heroic have poised themselves for what could be a blowout here. Let's just take a second. 16-7 versus Godsent yesterday. You said it themselves. You don't even think they turned their monitors on for that first match, Maniac. Well, there's a world where Heroic get to start on Vertigo, and because of the mandatory Nuke ban, right? If that's just another washout because it's Heroic's map choice, again, when we had the last series between these teams, they won each of their picks. You then find Crazy facing elimination on Dust 2 again today, one day
really
after a very difficult start. So sure, that Train's the third map. Maybe Crazy have poised themselves, but they have to get through that first onslaught. They've got to take their beating, get back up, and then start throwing punches of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is very interesting when I think about these 2 lineups is that I think there are a lot of parallels to be made, right? They both made changes somewhat recently in the past few months, and they had actual success very quickly. And that can be a problem. That can be a poison gift, right? When you change lineup and you win an event straight up, or you make it to the final to an event, you might think, okay, we have it. That's the constellation. That's how we want to play. And then you overestimate yourself a little bit. Today, this event could be the reality check, right? I said it. I believe that Emi and Letney on the long run is not going to be okay. I think they bring the same advantages and have the same weaknesses. I believe that in terms of raw talents, that's not going to be enough. Now, on the side of Heroic, Cadian came in, and I was like a fire. I think they had, 14, 15 maps in a row they won with Cadian City join in. And I told him, he's like a tsunami of good emotion, right? But how does he behave when things are hard? How does he behave when things are looking dark? This is a good test for me to see this new Heroic with Cadian.
I have to agree with you. I think this veto absolutely win in Heroic's favor. I respect the Vertigo pick, although I am a little bit nervous for them. I'm just not sure what to expect from Crazy. I know the old lineup with Next and Hunter, they were actually very efficient on this Vertigo pick, but since the changes on Vertigo, since the changes in the Crazy lineup, I'm not sure how much time they've actually had to attack that map. I think, though, that if it does go to all 3 maps, if it goes to that Train, goes to that third map, man, Esperanto has been busting out that op on that Train, and it has been spectacular. So if it goes to the third map, I think Crazy are in a good position here.
All right, well, let's talk about Crazy a little bit. Let's talk about this man on screen, Otto. You want to talk ops? He's someone who, when we still had Hunter and Nexo, was kind of the X factor, was sort of hit or miss. And when he was hitting shots, that was when Crazy were a top 10 team.
Exactly.
If not even then some. but you've got to compare the highs and the lows. So what else do we talk about when we think crazy?
I mean, Otto, I think it's got to be his consistency factor. We saw it a little bit, glimpses yesterday of him hitting some shots and the impact that it has for him in the rounds. But for some reason, it's those easy shots that kind of slip away from Otto. It's those shots that you really have to depend on your opper to hit that slips away from him. So I think if Otto focuses on making sure that he fulfills his responsibilities, doesn't try to overdo it, doesn't try to do too much of his job, just does enough to help his team get over the finish line, it's going to really help the crazy side of things.
And who else, Maniac? Who else do you look at when you see Crazy hit the server?
But I mean, obviously the guy that we have on the screen right here, Ships, to me, one of the best recruitment they could possibly have. An extremely interesting player, I think very impulsive, very decisive in what he plays, a good understanding of the game. He has the mechanical skill to go with it, because sometimes, like me, at some point in my career, I could understand what was happening, but I couldn't make the shot. That is a problem. I think Ships has both. He understands the situation, acts on it, and he's precise.
I have another point actually for the crazy side of things. Yesterday on Dust 2, they hardly were able to get long A control on their CT side. And generally speaking, Emmy was able to have that long A control, utilize his spawn, and he's the coach to return full-time player. So the expectations have been dropped on him. However, if he's able to get into that long A, if he's able to control that area, it's certainly going to make things a little bit easier for the crazy side of things.
I agree, absolutely. Now, when it comes to the head-to-head, I picked Asetak and Esperanto for one specific reason. I believe these are two players that are great illustration of how your level can change considering the role that you play, right? We know, we talked about it, Esperanto, he had very high, and then Hunter and Nexta took a lot of space. He had to shift a little bit his position, he had to let them be in the light, and he disappeared a little bit. Now, Asetak is the same. Asetak was kind of the glue for teams in Denmark for a long time. He was just doing what he needed to do for the team to work, and his levels suffer from it, right? So if you're at home, if you're a viewer, this is something that you have to keep in mind. Sometimes a player in a team is not going to play his best role. He's not going to be his best self, but it doesn't matter. The team is what comes first. The victory is what comes first. It's not your ego, it's about winning. And these two men, I think they've done it.
Okay, nice, guys. We're going to go into the predictions now, all right? We're going to get closer to it. The odds are favoring towards the side of Heroic, and I think that's fair when you consider current form and where we're standing here. I don't think Crazy are incapable of winning this, but I do think that Heroic are poised to take it. It seems more so like their series to lose. So give me, one or two sentences of justification. Maniac, who you got?
No, I believe you're right. I believe Heroic is going to take this. They have the experience. I think in terms of tactic, they go way deeper than Crazy or what they are able to do. I also believe that Heroic can bounce back from a bad day way better than Crazy can do. I've seen them yesterday. They looked very down, very disappointed. So I'm going to go with Heroic.
I have to agree with you guys as well. I think Heroic should be able to win this one. But again, if it goes to that third map, if Crazy are able to take it all the way to train and bounce back and recover from yesterday's poor performance, it's going to be tricky for Heroic.
Yeah, I feel like because of Heroic's win in Atlanta, they've been hoping to have that finals versus Crazy to get their revenge from Rotterdam. Well, now they get their chance at revenge, and it's going to happen down here in the losers bracket. I too will side with Heroic for this one. I'm sorry, Neil. I know you're going to watch this back, but we've got two guys standing by to take this action away from us. However, wait, I forgot about Twitch chat. Let's see what these guys have to say.
Never forget about the Twitch chat.
They are trailing by one correct prediction. They'll find themselves on the favor of Heroic. So we're all in the same camp, guys. Welcome to the winning team for once. And welcome back to the stream, Tom Biz and Big Pimp.
You know what, Squanny? You should always ignore the Twitch chat. That's what I do every single day.
Well, the one thing that I take solace in as someone who is like a fan of the Crazy team, I would take solace in the fact that not only it's unanimous desk, so that's always a bad sign, and also Potter said yesterday, whenever she predicts against Crazy, they always seem to win.
Okay. So you're going by that logic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might just be a little bit biased. I definitely don't have an Esperanto show on my wall at home.
No, you hopefully do not?
I do.
You do?
Okay.
Well, you're a big fan. That's fair enough. I think we have a close game on our hands as well. I think it's a little bit harder to predict than maybe the analysis desk made it sound like. I think we have, team number 16 in the world in Heroic. We have team number 17 in Crazy. It doesn't get much closer than that. We have two teams who practice two different ways of playing Counter-Strike. One team, Heroic, are tactical based, a lot of team play, a lot of synergy within the team, sorry. Whereas for Crazy, it's more about the individual skills. It's about setting up Esperanto. It's about enabling Ships to play well. Otto with the AWP, how much impact can he have against a guy like Cadian? There's so much stuff going on within Crazy right now that you can't really pinpoint where the strengths are, apart from the individual skill set. So I think that's going to be interesting. You're playing a map like Vertigo. We know both of these teams like to play Vertigo. And again, two different ways of playing it. So it should be an explosive one, and it should be a fun one, Tom.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this matchup. I think this could easily have been the grand final. You have the winner of the last two opens facing off against each other in an elimination match. It's always a rocky road for CR4ZY as well, so they're used to this. They're used to being in this situation. They're going to take the fight upright straight off the bat. It is going to be Barup already getting that opening pick. Rotations are enabled, of course. I haven't actually got to cast too much Vertigo with this new side part, so this definitely could be something a little bit interesting for me to see teams wrapping around how it's utilized properly and how teams like CR4ZY have adapted, because I think they've only played on it once, and that was against Prosto, and they lost in overtime. So it's not a map that, since it's been changed, they've even been playing too much.
No, that's the thing, right? It's a new map for a lot of teams, and also for me, it's a map that is constantly changing right now. There hasn't really been enabled a certain meta on the map due to the fact that it's being changed constantly. Now we see Heroic slowly but surely making their way up to this B bomb side, and it's again, no utility, no nothing. It's 5 Glock, 5 armors, and they're just going straight up for the duels, and this time around, Stavn is going to win this one as well. Left to Esperanto and Ships. Question is, can they pull this one back? Bomb went down 4 versus 3 retake scenario. Again, no utility. It's all about the duels. S-Attack finding Ships in the head right here. Left to Esperanto and Emmy now. It's going to be a tough one. There is a kit. No, there's no kit available, actually, so they have to speed it up. This is not looking great, Tom.
Yeah, I don't really see how they get out of this Emmy now in a 1 versus 4, and that is clean and clinical coming out from Heroic. And I think the one thing that definitely worries me in this sort of matchup is one of the main points that we always seem to look to is the star power when it comes to this CR4ZY lineup. But although I always look at Esperanto and Ships and say, okay, on their day they can take down anyone.
Sure.
But I would say similar things for players like Stavn. I think Barup as well, when he has a very good day, is really difficult to play against as well. And then you bring in the likes of the AWP as well, and Cadian. He's taken over matches. You look at the grand final at Atlanta, and he absolutely dominated. When they need him, he's there. Sure. So I don't think that even if we have the players playing well on CR4ZY, that it's going to be an easy road by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I would definitely agree, and I think that's part of the problem, that I think CR4ZY is a little bit too one-dimensional in the way they play, in terms of they need the individuals to step up. If they don't, they will lose the game with no doubt whatsoever. Now Letney, he's in a very upfront position right here, and he's going to go down to Snappy straight away. That was one of the chances they had to fight their way back into this round. Now Otto, see if he can find a PK with the Deagle. They spotted out each other. Cadian goes down. That's a nice shot by Otto. Surviving with 12 HP. There's a little bit of an opening here for CR4ZY. They did invest a lot into this round. Basically everything they have. A few Deagles, a Mac-10, and a CC on Emmy is all they got left to work with, though. Whereas for Heroic, there's still a decent amount of utility. 3 AK-47s and a Mac-10. They're taking the time now, making sure they don't get surprised by anything anywhere on the map. Barup slowly but surely making his way up towards this B bomb side. Pretty sure you can hear this guy jumping around, so he knows what's going on. The problem is there's a smoke in the hands of Ships, so he's going to shut it down whenever they try to walk into this B bomb side, which is where they're heading. So this could be very dangerous for Heroic. If Ships play this well, Heroic's going to be in a lot of trouble. That's not well. You shouldn't die there.
Getting tagged quite a bit. He did very well on Dust 2 with the Mag-7, so we'll see if there could be some recreation of that, especially with the time that's left. He's trying to get up in the faces of his opposition. 14 seconds, he will go down. Esperanto's now here, but a nice shot from Stavn. An important one at that. It leaves the site open. They can get the bomb down with time to spare. And Emmy and Otto, once again, are looking like they're without much of a chance. Need some sort of miracle, and Otto left solo. He still hits another 1-dig, at least making things costly. But at the same time, no real chance to win it. And it will be a conversion. And I think that there's so many interesting storylines when it comes between these two teams. I think another one that I saw brought up to you yesterday was one of the best teams at beating that old Imperial roster was a snappy version of Heroic. So again, there's so many prospects when you look at Heroic and say, okay, they should be winning this. Sure. They should be the ones taking this through. They're the team in form. They're the team that won the last event. Everything points in that direction. But I still always have that thing where I go, okay, but if we see the right CR4ZY, they could still knock them out of the tournament.
Well, one way to do it is give Esperanto an AK-47 in a sense. Well, basically, he wasn't gifted it. He took it himself. Took down Stavn. Now he has that AK-47. And as you said, you know how dangerous he is, right? That's the guy you don't want to kickstart in a game like this. That's the guy you want to make sure you keep quiet. Because he is potentially the best player on the server. Now, Heroic seemingly want to go for a fast A play here. They put down some smokes. Otto being put down to 7 HP as well. That's it, right? A great grenade coming in here. Utility being used perfectly by Heroic. Cadian coming in with a double kill with the Mac-10 as well. easy as it is, and this round should be more than over now for Heroic. Cadian with a third kill here as well, farming some money for that AWP that he most surely will buy sometime in this round as well. So everything working out the way Heroic wants it to. Esperanto got off to a good start with Simon, but it didn't really matter.
I really hope that he's either going to do something aggressive with I was about to say with the Mag 7, but okay, those trades are definitely worth it.
That's 5 Mag 10 kills in a round. That's a lot of money.
And they got rid of the AK as well.
And they got rid of the AK.
So they've reduced the money of their opponents. They built some of their own. They're definitely in a good position going forward into this one. And this is the map where I genuinely do like favor Heroic heavily. Because I think with the old team, when you had Nexa calling and you had Hunter in the mix, I think that the structure they had with the aggression actually worked quite nicely. I think Nexa's a player that you can leave on a site on his own and he'll hold it down well. Like he's normally good for 2 kills every time. Now it's so much looser, it's so much more aggressive. You need to take these fights to have a chance of winning these rounds, otherwise you see executions like that. And that's where I'm going to favor the other. Then again, sometimes these aggressive plays work. The peek down towards ramp, a double entry, starting off well. We've already seen so much money built up for Heroic, so even damage in this round would be enough, but I think they're probably going to be hoping for a little bit more. Down as well, able to take control of middle, which is still an important part of the map, but definitely lost a bit of value now that the door is gone. It's a little bit longer to double back in towards that B side. But it does allow for wraparounds a little bit easier, and also missing that shot, he's completely isolated. There's nowhere to run, and that 2-man advantage dwindles with still a minute left on the clock.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem, right? Because as you said, there's still a minute left in this round, and Heroic have plenty of time to walk around the map, making sure not to get caught off guard, making sure to optimize their own position, and hopefully be in a position where they can put on an additional pressure towards this B bomb side, which is where they're leaning towards right now. Smoke comes in from Burp. Going to isolate some of the crazy players. It's all going to be up to him. He's going to be Molotov out of his position, so he has to get at least 1, maybe 2 kills here in order for them to win this round. It's not going to happen. Stown and Snappy combined for 2, and all of a sudden we have a situation where Heroic is up in a 3 versus 1. It's all down to Letney, and he has an M4 with a silencer on. I'm not sure that's going to be enough, Tom. He'll probably have to save this one.
Yeah, I definitely can't see him winning this, especially with his current position. It'll take him a long time. No kit. Like, if he manages it, I'll be very impressed. So, just going to be saving the gun, and again, it's going to be Heroic turning, what, 3v5 into a, what, all 3 players surviving?
You know what, Tom? Let's change roles for a second here. You've been asking me throughout this tournament, what is the minimum amount of rounds that you think Crazy can live with on a map like Vertigo?
I would actually put it like higher than you probably expect. I'd be looking at like maybe 7 or so, something like 8. Because I genuinely wonder what they're going to have on the T side if they don't build something into this first half. Sure. Because I think just mentality-wise, like they had a really poor performance on a map that they were strong on, or should be strong on. And that was even a 16-7, I think, was kind in the end. When you watch how some of those rounds went down and they won the pistols as well. So I think that just to even gain some confidence going into this matchup, they need to have a good first half. Even if it then falls away and they lose the map, as long as they had something that they can go, okay, this worked well, some of the players performed, then I think that's okay. And then going into the second map, sure, there's opportunities for them. But if they get dominated here, I think they lose this map quickly, and then they go into Dust 2 where they underperformed yesterday, and who knows what happens.
Could definitely be the case. I tend to agree with you, especially considering how strong Heroic are on a map like Vertigo. Unless you get away with 6-7 CT rounds here, it's gonna be incredibly tough for Crazy to have realistic hope of ending up winning this map. While I do agree with you, you know, it's important that some of these players get kickstarted, right? It's important that Esperanto is feeling good coming into Dust 2. Obviously also coming into Vertigo, there's you know, still a chance they're gonna end up winning this one, but by the looks of it right now, it seems like Heroic is in full control once again, executing onto this A bomb side. There's a little bit of a gap in the smoke right here. I'm not sure that's on purpose from Heroic. Question is if they're gonna be punished for it. Esperanto is looking for that opportunity, but Cadian is ready and waiting. Goes down once again, and at this point, Crazy, just save the AWP. There's no way you're gonna retake this bomb site 4 against 2. No utility. You have a homie with only a CC on his hand as well. Otto, please just save the AWP. Please.
Looking to try and fight it, and I think they're going to chase him down as well. Does manage to at least kill off Estang and get a second, so making things a bit more costly, forcing some rebuys. Are they actually going to consider going for this now? Like, they've got a couple of kills, but the bomb is so far ticked. It's a 10-second defusal. I don't see Heroic giving this one up. It would be massive mistakes if they do, and Emmy's going to have to just sit on that bomb and hope he can defuse it in time. And There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
I mean, it would have been nice. But yeah, again, I think we talked about it yesterday, Tom, when we casted the first Crazy game as well, that they tend not to save when they're supposed to. They tend
know
to
when you've lost.
Yeah, exactly. You know when you're out of the fight, know when you can. I've said it plenty of times throughout this tournament already, but optimize your situation even though you're losing. You know, you can optimize your situation when you're winning by making sure you don't die a lot of guys, you know, don't die to the bomb, don't take on any unnecessary duels, but the same goes on for when you're losing. If you know that you're out of the fight, there's no reason to go for it. You could have saved that up and you could have saved some money. That being said though, could still afford a new one. This one worked out. S-Attack was being put down. And again, Crazy is off to a good start, but it hasn't really resulted in any rounds so far. They've had a few rounds where they got the opening kills, even a 5 versus 3 scenario where they ended up losing that completely.
Timing, Otto once again looking to try and truly dominate the ramp. I think that is the difference with a lot of these teams. Like, some teams are happy to play for retake scenarios. I don't think Crazy are from what we've seen so far. They really want to take these fights earlier into the round. Cadian is going to catch Emmy having a little bit of a look around. I think that will actually end up benefiting Crazy a little bit though. Like, they now know that there's a player deep within B. They've given up mid control, so you'd hope that if they go back in that direction that they should know that there's a player around there, or there could be. And then on 4 versus 2, well, if they throw this one away, I think they'll spiral out of control. Like, that would be the nail in the coffin. Like, they need to convert this round and should.
Sure. I definitely agree with you. There should be no way that Heroic finds a way back into this round, and especially now which is going down to ships. The question is, Cadian, are you going to be the smart guy who's just going to save this AWP? Are you going to try to put some pressure on the money? This is one of those situations where you can argue that with the amount of money that Heroic has on the lineup right now, he can justify going for the peaks. He can justify, you know, trying to take 1 or 2 weapons down from the Crazy side, making sure that you keep up the pressure on the money situation. But you can also easily justify him just saving here, bringing up the orb into the next round. It's a very, very expensive gun, and you do save a lot of money with that.
Yeah, especially being on that T side as well.
Good to see, though, Crazy, right? Capitalizing, getting the first pick. Otto having a great round here, getting that one. That's a beautiful shot on this attack. This one on Snappy as well. A little bit lucky with the timing, but that's a nice flick to finish off Snappy. He didn't get any kills out of that one. So, signs of life coming out of the Crazy camp and making it 5-1 now. Having all the utility they want, all the guns they want. Actually, a double op setup on Esperanto and Otto as well. So, question is if Heroic is aware. This is where you want to put down full execute, full smokes, full grenades, and just isolate those AWPs, because it's very tough on Vertigo to find openings behind those smokes. Guess what, Tom?
What?
It's happening.
Oh, here we go. Smokes over the top. Failed attempt in the last round results in an execution onto this one. It is going to be Ships once again. He's definitely one of those players who can dominate a side, but they're going to need him to here. The rotation has come in, but behind the smoke, they can't do too much. He's left completely blind, but with the last bullet, seems to get away with it. S-Tag, however, with 2 quick kills back in and leaves Esperanto as the only man left. Letney gets there quick enough, but S-Tag's just gone ham. A triple kill, leaving just 2 remaining. Money is absolutely wrecked for the CT side. Esperanto with a nice shot, though, gives them a chance. But he needs his teammate to get in, and both players using orbs. You almost have to hope that the opponent keeps fighting, and with a flank coming in from behind, you have to think this is now impossible. It's down, splitting the gaze of Esperanto, but he still gets this extra kill. He's up to 3 now. He does have a kit available to him and can guess where the remaining opponent is going to be. It's just going to come down to the time, trying to bait out the peak, and he jumps up and misses. And Snappy just holding on at the end will steal that round back. As said, Money now wrecked for that CT side, but at least they do have a loss bonus behind them.
Completely wrecked. It's a problem. It's a bit of a problem. I love this call coming out from Heroic, though. I was just about to say, you have a double op setup on the CT side. What do you want to do against that? You want to throw a wall of smokes, and you want to isolate those ops, and that's exactly what they did. Kudos to Snappy, or whoever made that call from Heroic. They read that situation perfectly fine. Obviously, it's easy for us to sit here and say, as we can see the entire thing. We see the money, we see the weapons, but Heroic made that read, and that definitely paid off for them. A little bit, you know, a little bit closer than I may would have expected, but that was down to Esperanto hitting some nice shots with the AWP. So good to see him at least finding some confidence in this map.
Yeah, unfortunately, in this scenario, the economy isn't going to allow for it. They still have a buy, but all that utility they previously had is gone, and no, so is that second orb. And considering how well he did in the last round. The thing is, though, I feel like at the moment, we haven't seen him get into positions where he can get openers or get picks. It's mostly trying to retake, which definitely not ideal. Otto, on the other hand, he's been finding a lot of openers, but again, his S-Tag to find this trade. He's so quick getting into the side with the SG. Nothing seems to have changed, and Esperanto, once again, is going to be the one to find the kill. Bomb actually dropped in a pretty horrible position for the T's. They're going to have to try and make their way around this corner, utilize the utility they've already thrown, and try and expend a little bit more, but maybe just trying to bait out some peeks, get some more picks back into the site before they actually opt to get that bomb down. And with 30 seconds on the clock, they're going to have to do it soon. It's more just wasting time for Stown, but Cadian hits the shot anyway. Now he really is the surprise, and a perfect transition onto both heads. Stown's here to play.
But look at that, right? They're just completely outplaying CR4ZY right now. They're taking the time, they're making sure Stown gets in a position where he can flank with success, and he obviously pulls the two relatively easy shots off with the SG, but still, it's good to see that everything right now that Heroic is planning for, that's actually being executed, and it's working. That's the thing, right? We talked about it. Heroic is a team, they rely a lot on the team play, they rely a lot on the structure within the lineup and the set plans they do have for the rounds, and if they can keep doing what they're doing right now and execute them to, dare I say, almost perfection, then it's going to be tough for CR4ZY to get into the game. You made the point yourself earlier. Esperanto, he's on the back foot right now. He's retaking all the time. He's not the one getting out there in front of things. And that's it's a problem if you're CR4ZY. You want to be ahead of the curve, so to speak. And right now, it seems like Heroic are in full control of this game. Once again, taking it very slow, making sure not to take any chances, any unnecessary risk around the map. Slowly but surely moving up, using the utility well. Now BO3 is in a prime position to get a few kills here.
The aggression of the CT side, kind of expected in a round like this when it is mostly just Deagles, a 5-7 or 2 thrown into the mix as well. It's a round where you kind of need to try and make these plays. I think that was straight through the wood. S-Tag is going to find a pick, and Otto now left alongside Esperanto. 2 players at the top of the board, but I think Otto basically won them one of the rounds with his openers, but other than that, it's not been anything to really write home about.
Surely not, and again in a position where all he can hope for is just do a little bit of damage. Maybe take down a gun or 2, and so he will. Another kill for Otto. He's been having a great game so far, sitting at 9 kills. Gotta find the few positives that you can within the CR4ZY camp. One of them right now is that Otto is definitely having an impact with the orb. Problem for him is that the rest of the team is not able to follow up with that. Whereas for Heroic, it seems that they are pretty much playing as they want to right now. They're doing perfectly fine in the structure within the team. BO3 here with 2 nice kills, but it just seems easy, right? It seems at no point that Heroic is being pressured into doing something unrational or doing something hesitated. They are in full control, they do whatever they want, and they play the rounds slow, but also with the ability to explode when needed to.
Well, I think a big thing as well is when a player who's lurking on your side has almost 100 ADR, that pretty much could be doing a very good job. Like Stown has been able to wrap him from behind so many times now, and they just wait for it. Like they're so focused on basically going, okay, we're going to be patient and let him do what he does best and just get those final few frags. And on the other side as well, I don't like to sort of rail on players, but we mentioned how Letney can be a player that people sleep on. He's currently got 0 kills. Emmy currently has 19 ADR. Like, it's not enough. Like, you can't play a team like Heroic and have 2 players that are just out of the mix.
No, for sure not. That is a part of the problem right now. They're trying to take manners or charts into their own hands right here. Esperanto with the double upsetter once again. Didn't work out last time as Heroic did a full execute with smokes to kind of isolate them and making it tough for them. This time around though, it seems like they haven't had that read. Ships gets on a nice kill here on S-Attack. Not able to trade that. Otto in a front forward position as well. Snappy seems to be aware, but can he do anything about it? Nope. Esperanto takes down Cadian, and this is what you like to see. And now Otto falls back, right? He knows he's up in a 5 versus 3 scenario. There's no need to take any risk. I like what I'm seeing for CR4ZY here. They are doing a good job getting the openings and definitely not throwing them away.
This is where patience becomes key, especially with the way that a lot of these rounds have gone. We've already seen them lose a 3 versus 5. Ship's actually going to re-aggress the surprise factor is enough and leaves Stown alone. As mentioned, he's been someone sort of lurking on the other side of the map. I like this. Scopes in at the bottom, so it gives him more of a chance, but realistically now, it's a question of whether or not he's just going to try and keep this for the remaining 30 seconds, or again, if he wants to try and do some damage. Money has started to take a bit of a hit, at least, but Stown still with 6,000. If he dies, it will go round.
Well aware that Otto is up there, getting tagged down, and there we go. It goes down to Ships. A great round from him, starting off with an opening duel that he won, followed up with 2 kills, and another one for Crazy now. We need to see them string rounds together. We need to see them being able to keep this up.
Yeah.
Can't just win one, lose the next one, win one, lose the next one. It's not going to be enough against a team like Heroic. So you're already in a position where you're down 8-2. So now would be the time to string a few rounds together. As you said, put some more pressure on the economy of Heroic. You can see on your screen right now that if they were to lose this round, it could be a case of them saving the next one. So right now, Crazy have been gifted a little chance to fight their way back into this game. Now it's about time they capitalize on it and make it work. Double up setup again.
It's definitely still possible that they could get to like a 5 or 6 rounds, and it's workable from there. Much less than that, and you do worry that Heroic are just going to see this out, even if it does like get back a little bit close. They seem to be a team that fairly headstrong. We saw that yesterday in the match. They lost the... No, wait, that was not. That was Tricked. I've mixed up the Danes. It was Tricked to a fairly headstrong. But I would put Heroic in the same bracket anyway. There's too many Danish teams at this point. Like, we need some UK teams. That's what we need.
Nah, that's exactly what we don't need, actually. We need more Danes. We need more Danes. Question is whether the Danes or not can make this one work. Bob is in a pretty open position. He's getting burnt down a little bit. 68 HP now. Again, they're taking slow. They're rearranging the plan, making sure not to take anything hesitated. S-Attack goes down to Letny. Good to see him on the board. Down, moving up. This time around, he's not the lurker. He's going to be the guy planning the bomb. And they are being allowed to do so now. The problem for Heroic in this position is they have 0 utility whatsoever to hold back Crazy. 5-man retake. There's a smoke on Letny. There's a flash on Ships. If they utilize those well, it's going to be incredibly tough for Heroic to hold on to this one.
Yeah, I'm just watching Barup. Like, it's the same scenario as before. So many times we've seen a player lurk in from behind and just win a round for Heroic. Previously it's been Stown, but he's going to be posted up, and there is Barup. That was the chance. That was the moment that I think could have made or broken the round. Stown, though, still manages to get back 2, and actually they're trading, but the bomb's going to be defused in the meantime. Finally, Crazy get away with one there, but it still came very, very close, considering they did everything right up until that point.
Yeah, that was, I hate to do it, but that was all on Borup right there. Getting 1 kill in that situation and staying alive, that would have been more than enough for them to win the round. So a little bit unfortunate he wasn't able to connect that shot, but that's how it goes sometimes, and great to see Crazy capitalizing on the opportunity they had now. Heroic had money to buy up here. Snappy saved an AK-47, definitely helped them out with that. This is it. If Crazy wins this round, we're going to look at an 8-4 scoreline. We're going to say we're having a competitive and a close game, and we're going to look at Heroic potentially saving the next round, depending whether they get the bomb plant or not. A lot of pressure being brought onto the Danish squad now. After looking so solid in the beginning, it's starting to slip away a little bit here for the Danes.
It's good to see the Crazy have started to predict things. That was a lot of noise just made by Ships. So Stown 100% has to know he's there, but it's whether he could do anything. Actually did hit the dink. A little bit unlucky. I think Ships is definitely going to trade that weapon back after he realizes it's Galil. But in the meantime, as Crazy should know, Stown, the majority of this map has been the man lurking. So it probably means the rest of the team are on the other side.
That would be the go-to logic for sure. Question is if they are aware, and even if they are aware, can they do anything about it? Smokes flies in now. A lot of counter smokes coming out from Crazy side now. Probably going to hold back Heroic just a little bit here. There's no way you can push through those smokes. That nade, that's a money nade right there. Borup, though, getting a nice kill. And so does Cadian with the AK-47. Seems to be very effective without the AWP in his hands as well. Fake planning, now coming with the real plan. The Molotov that's being missed by Emmy. That's not a good Molotov to throw out. You could definitely have used that later on. You gotta win that duel, and it all falls apart for Crazy. There's a lot of opportunities gifted to them, but they are not capitalizing. Emmy had to do better with the Molotov. He had to win that duel. Same goes on for his teammate. It's all up to Esperanto now in a 1 versus 4, getting the first kill against Borup, but at this point, you better just save.
Yeah, the rest of the team, you can see Heroic go, wait, it's Esperanto? Nah. You know what, nah? I'm just not going to... Well, you can keep the org. Go on, have it. Enjoy. Save that one. Take it home to your friends. We're going to sit over here and, you know, win the round. And that, to be honest, absolutely fine with that. I don't really want to see them like going for an overface versus someone like him, because there's a chance you lose, and what you would gain is taking away one gun.
Exactly. That being said, though, he was able to save an AWP here, and given the money situation on.
Is he jumping?
Crazy right now. That was ridiculous, wasn't it? Yeah. Well,
that's one of those kills where I think Crazy will watch that back and go, wow, come on.
What am I supposed to do? Well, this is a Hail Mary from Crazy. You can see the buy right now. It's 2 MP9s, a Max 7, and 2 AWPs. They had money to do that. Decent utility behind it, but that's it. If they don't win this round, they're going to be left with no money. And they're going to go down 10-3, which is at a point where I'd say that that could be game over. Otto with another opening, getting traded out straight away by Snivy. Great awareness from Heroic. It's all right. One of the ops is now eliminated. There's only one left on Esperanto. So you have to face 2 MP9s and a Max 7. Should be relatively doable for the Danes. Once again, taking it slow, making sure not to get surprised. We haven't seen at one point Crazy being able to flank Heroic or find kills in the back or anything like that. And that shows great awareness by Heroic. They're not giving up any space. They're not giving up any opportunity for the Crazy side to do that. That deserves a little compliment as well.
Yeah, I can't say I'd be surprised either if Heroic now do look to pressure that A side, just based off the fact that the one time they've actually lost it was off Otto. So if Otto is on the other side of the map and dead, I don't think he's going to be doing too much to stop him now. So they are just going to go back to this. And to be fair, their default take with all of those smokes, Crazy have struggled. They've not really been able to do anything. They've almost been hoping like on some of the names. Let Me already just going to be absolutely owned out of the server within seconds. It does still manage to get one, at least breathing a little bit of life into this round, especially with the amount of time. 25 seconds left as the bomb is going to make its way forward, but of course, smoke to cover. We're up as well, not allowing them to get in close, get a first kill, but again, just going to be traded. But at this point, you now have those players sat back and defending, and Cadian through the edge of the smoke is going to be able to finish that one off. So another round on the board. That was a pretty important one as well, because that was the moment where economy was still fairly sketchy for Heroic, and also the CT side not in a good state either.
Definitely not in a good state either. That was well played by Heroic, but also, I think it showcases what Crazy are lacking right now. A little bit of more coolness, a little bit of more, economy management. I think there's been too many rounds on the CT side where it's just been MP9s. It's just been, lackluster in terms of what weaponry they had to deal with and how much utility they had to deal with. When you're facing a team of the caliber of Heroic, you need to be able to set yourself up with the best possible utility, the best possible guns in order to fight that strategic approach, in order to fight those wall of smokes coming into you, and they haven't been able to do that. So that's maybe something they want to go home and look at after they're done playing this Vertigo. I'm not going to call this one a GG just yet, but it's getting to a point where unless Crazy gets 1 or 2 rounds to finish off this half, it could be the case of Heroic just running away with this one relatively easy.
Yeah, and the Warriors as well, like even the moments where we have seen them with like a few grenades available, a lot of them have either been misused or slightly mistimed, and then it's given like a team that already seemed to be in a very good position an even better one. Like the amount of times we've now seen a Molotov thrown in to like try and deny the plan, it's done nothing, or thrown into a corner to clear something and there's no one there, or it doesn't achieve anything. And it's like, you have to think like, okay, if you are in the moment and you manage to utilize that grenade slightly better, does it force someone out? Does it give you a kill? Does it give you a chance in the retake? Because I don't know if we've even really had a successful retake out from Crazy. I don't think they want to be in those positions. Like the way that they've actually managed to win rounds was, okay, I'm going to aggressively peek and we'll take fights with the orbs. And it seems almost like a team, like when Vertigo first came out, and I actually watched, I think it was Hellraisers play against Aristocracy. And it was clearly the Poles knew what they were doing, but Hellraiser just went, okay, well, we can't win that way, so let's fight it. Let's just go push down the ramp, let's take fights, because we can't win in retakes, we can't win in the more strategical approach. And at the moment, that's kind of what it looks like for Crazy, where they're going, okay, we don't have like this in the retake, we don't have this in the retake, so let's just fight versus Heroic, and Heroic are going, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem, because the fights they're trying to take, they're not structured enough, right? You look at a team like Astralis, for example, when they're playing Vertigo, even Team Liquid for that matter, they have a set way to deal with with A, for example. They have an aggressive way of throwing a few smokes and basically isolating that area and being aggressive towards that. Either you fight them and you potentially die, or you leave that area alone and you don't have control over that part of the map anymore. For Crazy, it seems like it's just one by one taking those duels. Otto going for a peek by himself. Maybe he gets it and gets away. That's nice, but it's all up to him, right? It's not a set in stone plan, so to speak, from Crazy, and that's a problem. That's something they lack to this lineup, because we know how good they can be as individuals. We know how good Esperanto is. We know how good Otto can be. We know how good Chips is. You know, he's been having a decent game so far as well, having a lot of impact with the SG in particular. But unless you facilitate that around those players, unless you set them up for success by doing something to enable them, it's always going to be just up to them. So if they're having a bad game, your entire team is just going to fall apart. And I feel that's what we're seeing right now from Crazy. Whereas if you look towards Heroic, yes, Burrup can have a bad game. He's not necessarily having the best game right now. He has a decent amount of kills, but he's been missing a few opportunities. Doesn't matter though. There's so many other players to fall back on. There's a structure to fall back on. There's a foundation built up around this lineup to fall back on. And that's what I'm missing for Crazy. Because I believe that individually speaking, yeah, they match up well against Heroic, as you said. Yeah. Probably 50-50 at that point. But if you miss everything else around that, then it's going to look a little bit silly when you're facing a team like Heroic, who's playing well right now.
Yeah. And I think you can even just pick apart certain rounds, as I was saying earlier. Like when you look at the moment, for example, where it gets into a 3v3, and still somehow there's like someone like Stown or Barup who's on the other side of the map, just working around, just clearing everything and just basically taking away portions, and then comes in for a perfectly timed flanked. Like it just seems like that's a piece that at the moment is sort of missing, and it's not going too well. But you know what? I think there's a few things behind the scenes that might be a little bit off at the moment. I think we're having a slight technical issue in the middle of the game, so you don't want to hear us talk anymore, you know, like Pimp, he's had enough. He wants a nap, like midway through the game. Like, he's a bit of a diva, you know. So we're going to go to a short break. We'll be back afterwards, hopefully quite shortly, with the rest of the game. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I was kind of hoping that they would replace Grony on the...
Oh, I think we're live now.
Okay, guys, welcome back. Yeah, we're going to be going into what is a 10-3 current scoreline with Heroic still in the lead.
Still in full charge of the game.
Everything's been fixed.
Yeah.
The money's been sorted. Like, all of that stuff has changed. And you know what? To be honest, like, going into this, I don't even know what to expect now, because like Crazy have had a long time to sort of reset. Like, of course, if they can now get the last couple of rounds, that would be great for them going forward. It gives them a little bit more of a chance. But at the same time, from what I remember, their money's not in the greatest of positions.
No, it's in a pretty horrible position, to be completely honest with you, and so is the entirety of Crazy right now. I think it's been a game where Heroic have basically dominated from the start of the game. They've had a clear game plan, they've executed well, and some of the players that you're watching right now, in particular Esetek and Stown, have had a great game so far as well. So something needs to change for Crazy. Maybe this little technical break have put them to other thoughts and maybe given them some ideas of how to deal with this. But for right now, it's not looking solid for them. 10-3, we said it before, 5 at the very least if they want to stand a chance of making this comeback. So let's see what they got. A MAC-10, a few pistols, and a few grenades. That's all. Question is, will it be enough? Esperanto already being brought down to 18 HP here. It's not really the start that you'd hope for.
No, and Esetek's been so good at getting these wall bangs like early into the round, just like finding extra pieces of damage. And I honestly don't think Heroic are going to be phased by this. Like we saw in the meantime, them being able to sort of have fun with it, like having a bit of a joke around while the break was going on. They're not phased by this whatsoever. So I think maybe another team, like they might be a bit frustrated by the delays or anything like that. I think Heroic are just going to get the job done.
Yeah, it surely looks like it. We're going to see another A hit coming in here. Smoke goes down. Esetek once again running in, getting the opening, combining that with Burrup. 5 versus 3, low HP on both Esperanto and Otto now. It looks like at this point, again, what's the best you can get out of this round? Probably not winning it, but if you can take down a few guns, maybe save an AK or two into the next one, and SG, well, there you go. You got a little bit of success going for you. But winning this round, that seems nearly impossible.
Yeah, definitely seems that way, and Snappy just putting down Emmy is going to pretty much put the nail in the coffin. The remaining 2 players very low on HP. A couple of bullets will do the trick, and in reality, Heroic don't even really need to hunt down these weapons. They just need to make sure that they sit passive, wait for any sort of peeks, watch for anybody holding angles as they look to exit the site, and if they keep this flawless going to the next round with a perfect buy, well, they're not going to be phased by anything that's done here by Esperanto.
Nope. Absolutely not. He does save a deagle, he does save an armor, but that's about it. Oh, it's looking rough for CR4ZY right here. I expected more from them coming into this map. I'm a little bit disappointed. We had the discussion just before we went on a break as well. I haven't seen anything, you know, coming out from CR4ZY on this CT side. I haven't seen any, you know, legitimate try to take some map control, you know, a set play on the CT side, some set pieces in terms of aggression. It's all been just down to the individuals. Otto have tried his absolute best with the AWP to open up the rounds. He's been somewhat successful, but apart from that, there's been no cohesion within this lineup. It's one by one all the time. You see Otto once again. He's going for the opening kill. He gets pushed away down to 44 HP, but it's not, you know, it's not a team effort. It's just individual-based Counter-Strike right now. And yes, that works for CR4ZY the majority of the time, but it would be nice to have that extra layer where if it doesn't work, which is the case right now, you move on to the second phase, which is you trying to play as a team. Just doesn't seem like they can that right now, and that's, you know what, somewhat disappointing to me.
Well, once again, we're going to see them fall back into this B execution. Successful last time, although the round still came fairly close with Esperanto going for a clutch, but not a whole lot of counter utility, just an incendiary, a couple of smokes, and Emmy just in the thick of it. I think he's just going to try and get out of there and allow them to get onto the site. It means that in a 5v5 retake with an afterplant and still some utility for Heroic to play with, I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable for CR4ZY here, especially with the half. And wow, Cadian's just on ham again. It's going to be a triple kill. S-Tag adds the fourth, and well, Chips, he might as well go for it. It is going to be the last round of the half, and no harm in trying, but, well, try as he might, nothing's going to come of it. An absolutely dominant half in the end. 12-3 in the favor of Heroic.
Yeah, that was some beautiful, beautiful Counter-Strike displayed by the Danish team of Heroic. They set the pace of that game from the get-go. They were playing fast, they were playing slow, they had set executes. We saw the A go, we saw the B go, we saw basically everything Heroic has to offer on this T side, and it worked out like a charm. 3 rounds is not enough for CR4ZY. It will require something extraordinary if they were to fight their way back into this game. A pistol round is a must. We have that one coming up straight away here. It just doesn't look good for them, right? You know how strong Heroic is, and you'd expect them to be able to at least pull up 4 rounds on this CT side. I want to see Esperanto, I want to see Otto, I want to see some of those players, you know, really go crazy on an individual basis, because they made the choice, right? They don't want to play Counter-Strike as a team right now. They've sort of like made peace with that. So if you're going to rely on your individuals to show up, then you better show up now. Otherwise, this is going to be it, and Heroic is going to go up 1-0 in this series.
And at least from this point, we can't say at least on Vertigo that we're overly surprised. It does seem like both teams are going to be far more comfortable on their map choice. Barup just looking for that early peek, finds the information and can call for rotations if needed, but nobody's moved yet. They're just waiting patiently. Barup already has a little bit of support available in the form of Stan, who's actually going to be looking over the top of the boost. Has to be a little bit wary of middle, but it doesn't seem like there's anybody there. And lots of information gathered. Barup, nice 2 kills to already kick things off on this site. They're hoping for a little bit more. He's being given the space, Down even able to peek back over, and the bomb's not even going to go down. That is a flawless pistol round coming off the back of Heroic. A great way to start this second half.
Yeah, and at this point, it's only a question whether it's going to be 16-3 or 16-9, you know. I don't believe CR4ZY can fight their way back into this one. As said, it would require something extraordinary for them to get this one going. Again, Barup showing that he's also a great player, right? It's every single player from Heroic right now showing up. We've seen Stown having great rounds. We saw Cadian have that triple K to finish off the game. S-Tag has been playing hearts out so far, sitting at 15 frags. Every single player right now from Heroic has an impact, whereas for CR4ZY, I'd go as close to saying none of them is having an impact right now. None of them is really living up to the potential they have, and that's a little bit of a shame to see, because we saw yesterday they got 7 rounds in the first game on Dust 2. That was a big underperformance. Now, so far today, they got 3. They played more than 40 rounds of Counter-Strike and only managed to win 10 of those. That's simply not good enough for CR4ZY.
And the thing is, I'm honestly not expecting them to get to 7 here with the way things have been going with the current scoreline. Like, I think that would be a bit of a luxury, like,
yeah.
Which is depressing. Like, this should be, well, this could be a grand final. This could easily be a grand final, the way that things have gone. Like, they are the past 2 champions of the DreamHack Tour, and, well, at the moment, it's not looking like that.
Yeah, definitely does not look like it. Cadian, good position to get some kills here, and he's farming it all up, getting another 4K, putting some frags on the scoreboard for him, sitting at 17 right now. He's been having a decent game. You look at his scoreline, right? He has 17 frags, but it's not like he's been playing hearts out, you feel. It's not like he's been having, you know, the big impact on the team. And the reason for that is that everyone from Heroic has had that impact. It's not like you pinpoint one player. It's basically all of them right now. You see all of them is above 11 kills as well. it's beautiful. If you're a Heroic fan, if you're a Danish guy out there watching right now, you'd be happy to see that. Otherwise, if you're a Crazy fan, it must hurt a little bit to see them being dominated this bad. Vertigo is a map that I'd expect, you know, Heroic to win, surely, but at least I would think this would be competitive.
Yeah, well, you talk about like the lowest player is 11 kills. The highest player on Crazy is 12.
Well, there you go.
It kind of says it all. Like even just a numbers game, they're losing these fights. Down actually gets away without even a scrape. They've used a lot of their utility fairly early on in this round. Only a couple of smokes and some flashbangs remaining, but the same can be said for the other side. Just a singular smoke left, one being expended in the middle. This needs to be a kill coming out from Ships, and he's losing that battle. I have to say, I really enjoy watching BO3 solo play this B side. Like we saw it over in Atlanta as well. He does a decent job, but does eventually get overwhelmed here. Down in the meantime has come in and just going to go for the straight face-up. Has some support in the form of S-Tag, who's going to get a kill as well, and just keeps running and gunning, leaving Letny alone. He at least manages to double his kills of the match, but not really saying very much.
It's completely falling apart for Crazy right now. I think they gave up mentally as well, this round as well. You get BO3, you get a 4 versus 4 situation of this B bomb side. I love that, by the way. That's cool. There's a few Heroic fans out there. I've been talking to some of them as well. It's good to see them coming up here and you know, give some backup to the Danes. But that being said, Crazy, they gave up now. Mentally, they're out of the game. You saw this 4 versus 4. They just go for the duel straight away. They have no synergy whatsoever, no trade fact potential. They just go down one by one, and it's at a point where the negative me is going to come out and say it's unacceptable. You are supposed to be better than that, and you're supposed to conduct yourself better than that. Right now, though, they're just not in the game mentally.
Oh, it's continuing in that direction. You can even see the side of Heroic starting to get a little bit loose with a lot of their plays, like aggressive pushes into ramp. They still have the utility, of course. They still have those nades set up, but they're just looking to try and finish this quickly. Already 2 opening picks with only 30 seconds gone in the round. Bomb on the deck. Emmy is at least going to be able to trade one back, but there's still 2 players remaining. And even whittling away those remaining players a little bit. Although Snappy is fairly low, there's still opportunities here at least. He's going to try and take a passive position, but jumps up. And this goes back into a 3 versus 3. Maybe some uncharacteristic mistakes coming out for Heroic. Getting towards the end of that match. Maybe trying to close it out a little bit too quickly. The T's in with a chance here, as they do go back to retrieve the bomb, and it doesn't look like they're going to change their mind of which direction they're going. The only problem is, the longer they wait, the more their smokes begin to fade.
Yeah, and the lack of utility is going to be a problem. There's only 1 smoke left, and then Letny, but it doesn't matter if you're going to win on your duels. Emmy getting a very important kill here towards Cadian, keeping the dream alive just a little bit longer for Crazy. Slowly but surely moving into this bomb site. Stown is waiting for them, and he gets all 3 of them. Beautiful done by Stown, closing out the game. Heroic 16-3 against Crazy. There was not a single doubt at any point in this game that it was going to go the way of the Danes. Every single one stepped up. Stown, it's only fitting, and he finished it out. Very, very well playing with the flanks throughout that T-Series, and overall, you got to give a compliment to Heroic for playing well, whereas for Crazy, it was a lackluster performance.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's one of those situations where they didn't look comfortable. Like, a lot of it came down to them trying to be like overly aggressive in a lot of these positions, and I think they just got outplayed on this map. I'm hoping that that's going to be one of those ones where they go, okay, that wasn't our choice. It's the map that's not really there for us right now. We'll go on to Dust 2, and that's where they'll make the fight. And that's where we're going to be coming back, because there will be a shorter break this time, and the second map will be underway with Dust 2.